I was thinking about something, right? Yeah, I was thinking about that too. But how do you know when something's natural? Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Peace, family.
It's got that electric feeling to it. That's what I think vibes are. You feel that way too? That's what's up.
Yes, we are recording right
What we
now.
bringing today?
This is your brother, Agent 2020.
Mood changing, thought provoking, feeding the spirit within.
And you are now tuned in Vibes, hip hop commentary. How y'all doing for the weekend? Thank God it's Friday, right? Yeah. You know, it's been a hell of a week, huh?
When you feel that way about that thing, you know that shit is doper than dope because it is. That do wop, boom bap, and gang gang. We family over here with those vibes, that's what it is. That's what it is. We tell it like it is.
We tell it like it is.
Straight with no chase.
Straight with no chase. Peace, family. Peace, family. It's your brother, Agent 2020, and you are now tuned in to Vibes, hip hop commentary. Now, it's been a hell of a week. A lot of stuff's been coming out here lately. What seems to be at the top of the cycle is my man Diddy. Well, I ain't gonna call him my man Diddy, but you know what I mean when I say that. You know what I mean. Man, I guess we just gonna have to see where this go. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to be responsible for the things you do. You know, uh, I don't know what to say about it. I really don't. To all the ladies out there, just make sure that y'all are not being taken advantage of to the point to where these type of things have to come out, because it's not good. It's not good at all. And I don't see an end to it because it's a lot of people that this brother done dealt with, and it seems like they have a lot of stories to tell. A whole lot of stories to tell. Man, look, I'm going to tell you like this. Shout out to my brother, Professor Griff. When you wrote this book, and I'm going to get the other one, Analytics. When you wrote this, you let it be known. Now, our brother been talking about this since the early 2000s. He was going on circuits, going to different places, renting rooms, being invited to different places, and was talking to our people about a lot of this stuff that's going on right now. But everybody was trying to look at him like he was just saying what he was saying just to be saying it, but he wasn't. He was all the way on point with it. So much so that now he can almost say, I told you so, but he's just too modest of a brother to even do that. Way too modest of a brother. Good man at the end of the day. He's not throwing it in nobody's face, but he talked about it. And I was listening to him at that time too. And I was understanding everything he was saying. That's what made me get the book. So y'all need to check that out. The Psychological Covert War on Hip Hop by Professor Griff. Y'all can go to his website and get it. ProfessorGriff.me. Look, this thing is deep. It's so deep to the point to where I'm about to read this again. Okay. I'm about to read it again from the beginning to the end. Okay. It's super relevant. Everything he's saying is coming to light now. Like everything he's saying is coming to light now. So, with that being said, we could talk about a little bit of everything today. This is an open conversation. But I would like to start off with the music because I'm an artist. And for those, who haven't never heard of me, Agent 2020. I'm on Spotify, Amazon. Just type in Agent 2020, exactly how you see it up there in the background, and it'll pull right up. I got a series called Personal Thoughts that I've been doing for the last couple of years. And these personal thoughts are just about things that I see in my life. Some of my trials, some of my struggles, and how I'm looking at this world that we living in today. And need y'all to go check out Mizzle Mix too. Mizzle Mix X. Okay. 2 X's. And our content is a little bit different. It's hip hop. We focus on lyrical content as well as subject matter. Okay. The music today has taken a turn. And the reason why I say what I say is because I've been seeing a lot of different examples of that. And now that these allegations of sexual assault and things been coming out, we really need to start looking at our content. Because when you say the things that you say, especially when you do it in this form, it's forever. You can't go back and change it. If you put it out, then you must have been confident enough to where you were okay with it. And if that's the case, then you really can't get upset when people look at it and have something to say about it. My whole thing is, as an artist, you put out what comes to your mind. The other part of that is you put out what influences you. Whatever you like, whatever you get into, you're going to record that. You're going to talk about that. So you have to be real careful what you put on wax, or you're going to have to be real careful what you put on what I like to call that musical plate. Because once the people start eating that and they like what they eating, they're going to expect you to cook that dish up every single time. Soon as you change the dish and they don't like the flavor, they done eating at your table. There's not going to be any more indulgent. They're going to move on to somebody who is in that vein. They're going to move on to somebody who's cooking that dish up, cooking that plate up, whipping it up, And if you're not comfortable with the skin that you're in, it's not a good idea to put that out in the public. It's not a good idea to put that out in the public, and it's not a good idea for you to stand behind it. So you got to stand behind your product. Speaking of Griff, he got a new CD that he's coming out with, and he is going to be, I think, doing a live stream or doing a release, an album release. You know, just go to his Serious Minds channel and look at the last video, and you'll be able to see, you know, exactly what he's talking about. You know, and he gives the information in that video as well. I'm looking forward to it. I think I'm gonna check it out tonight. Um, he's always made good music. You know, from the first studio CD he made, Pawns in the Game, that was like one of my favorites. You know, Chaos to Wisdom. He has a lot of good stuff that he has to say, you know, and that's why we call him the Minister of Information. He's still the Minister of Information to me, always will be, because he was the only one that was really willing to put that stuff out, besides, you know, our other artists that was on what you would consider back then what was called conscious hip hop. I call it hip hop, you know what I'm saying? And he has an acronym for it. I'm gonna have to look at it again just to make sure I get it right, because I don't want to say it and it not be right, you know. But each of those letters stand for something. Okay. And it really is a movement. You know, it's a difference between rap music and hip hop. I mean, all the way down to the core element of the music making, lyrical content, all of that. It's a difference between the two. You know, so it's good to have bars, but what are your bars really talking about? I mean, what type of thought are you invoking when you get on the mic and you start rapping, or you start talking to the people, as I would like to say? You know, this is the thing me and my brother Mizzle Mix been talking about for years. You know, because we came from a place to where if you was out there doing it, then you could talk about it in your own way, with your own method. Then as we started getting more mature when it came to the music, our subject matter started changing, which is what's supposed to happen. You're supposed to evolve to a point to where when you're making something, it matters. It's what you feel is coming from the heart. You know, a lot of people just do music just to entertain, you know, and they don't really even realize some of the stuff that they saying. And if they do realize what they saying, then they know what they putting out. Just like our brother D1 when he drew the line in the sand, you know, and he made it a point to say that some of these artists could do better. You know, everybody ain't in the street, and everybody don't stay in the street their whole life. If you think you can have one foot in the street and think you can have one foot in the industry without it being any repercussions or consequences, you'll find out real fast that that's not the case. Our brother Young Thug in court right now on a RICO case. Shout out to Young Thug. I really do hope, brother, that you get out of this, because you are a talented brother and you don't need to be going through this. You know, you pulled a lot of dudes off the street. You put a lot of dudes out of the hood and gave them something to do. You know, Future did the same thing with free bands. And now is the time for us to really take our movements and make them into what they need to be made into. Create these legacies for our children, create these legacies for our families. You know, something that they can actually be a part of, something that they can say that they're proud of. You know, so with me at this point, the music has to mean something. If it don't mean anything, then to me, it ain't even worth doing anymore. It has to have a cognitive substance to it. Something you can grab a hold to. You know, we should be putting our lessons, we should be putting the things that we learn, we should be putting examples in this music to give the children kind of like a roadmap. We don't want to give them a roadmap to hell. You know, we don't want to give them a roadmap to prison. You know, it's already a school to prison pipeline. Now shit, we got a music industry to prison pipeline now. You know, these dudes get on these records talking about what they do all the time and how they do stuff all the time, and then the next thing you know, they catching cases. Now, my brother Golden Child, for example, out of Chicago, he has the Unity series. You can go there, get that on SoundCloud. You can go to his Patreon and be a part of his Patreon page. You can follow him on Instagram. I think he might be on Facebook. GOLDEN Child, CHILD. You know, just the way he spelled his name, it just says something. Gold, GOAL, then DEN. You see what I mean? You know, and he's been pushing peace. He's been pushing unity through the streets. The brothers at FOI in the Nation of Islam. And he goes to these communities and he talks to our brothers on a regular basis, just like the FOI do in Chicago and all over the country, all over the world for that matter. And he has these brothers thinking about their lives now. He has these brothers wanting to push peace for real, to the point where he has the unity hoodies, unity hats. All we got is us. That's his thing. And I love it. I love it because at the end of the day, we are responsible for ourselves. We are responsible for the messages that we get our people. You know, and this brother's phenomenal. The concert's going to be December 16th in Chicago. You can go to his page. He got information on that as well. And the brother inspires me. I mean, he is a truly pure form of inspiration. You know, if you've never heard him, go to his SoundCloud page and check it out, man. I'm telling you. You know, he has freestyles. He has songs. He's on Spotify. Just GOALDEN Child. Okay. It's plenty of artists that are in the Nation of Islam that's giving some substance. His dad, H2, Hakeem, Redeemed Hashim, he was on Backstage. He was the Muslim brother that was doing the freestyle with DMX and Jay-Z. He has plenty of music out as well. Heck of a Mecca. I hope I'm saying your name right, sister. If I'm not, make sure you tap me and let me know. You know, she has a CD out called Young God. Dope. The sister is dope. I mean, it's so many artists out there. West Coast Cam, that's another one. He's been doing music for a while now. You know, and we got our staples. The guy Rakim, Lord Jamar, Grand Poobah, Poor Righteous Teachers, Wise Intelligent. I mean, it's a whole community of artists out here that's really doing music that has substance to it. Now, I know for every one of them, you got 10 other artists that just do whatever they want to do. And now our mainstream artists are starting to see that there's nothing wrong with putting good music out that doesn't promote certain things. And I'm glad that they're starting to see that now too. You know, you're always going to have music that cater to the streets, I guess. You know, it's a given. I don't have any problem with it as long as you're not trying to teach people how to do devilishment and have them out here just doing whatever. And then when they get in trouble, the only thing they can say is, man, I was listening to that fool, man, and he done went and I done went and started trying to be like him. And look at what ended up happening. And not even knowing if that's really how he was in the first place. He might have just been giving you that because he wanted to get out there. You know, Lil Durk, for instance, he changed his whole thing up. He was doing the drill music, you know, and those cats would do stuff and they would come back and they would record what they did. Our brothers was out there doing all of that, man. You know, and I'm glad he switched everything up. I'm really glad he did. You know, his pops got out of prison. And ever since then, he's been thinking about his life in a different way, you know. And I got to give the shout out to him on that, because a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people don't even care about that. And it's one of those things, man, where you just have to be careful how you do stuff. You really have to be careful how you do stuff. You really have to be careful how you portray yourself with the music and all of that stuff. Because if you don't do it the right way, you're going to influence somebody out there and they're going to end up following in your footsteps. Like, seriously, you know. And if those footsteps aren't good, I don't think you want to do that. I really don't think you want to do that, you know. So my whole thing at the end of the day is this: when we decide to put together some stuff, we need to make sure we in the right spirit, the right mind, and have the right heart, and actually have a purpose for what we doing. And it's a lot of us out here that do, versus a lot of people out here just want to get a dollar, which I can't blame them for that. But how you get that dollar can possibly come back on you in a way that you're not expecting. So just make sure you do that in a proper tense, in a proper context, because if not, then it's going to be some consequences. You might influence some people to go out and do some stuff that they don't need to do. You know, I live in a, let's say, like a small to medium sized town. And there's things that go on here behind the scenes that I don't even have an explanation for most of the time. But I know that the music culture has had an effect on the brothers and sisters here in this city. I'm from Anderson, Indiana, for that matter, just to make it be known. And they out here doing it. 13, 14, 15, 16-year-olds, they out here doing it. They carrying these guns. They out here listening to this music. They thinking that that's what it's all about. They thinking that you got to be hard. You got to be this. You got to be that to get any type of respect around here. And if you're not being that, then it's an actual problem. They think that you a square if you're not doing that. They think you soft if you're not doing that. That ain't the case. Never has been. This music was put together to be the reporter of what's going on. Tupac said it the best to me. You know, if I wasn't talking about thug life, we wouldn't even be having a conversation about it. If I wasn't talking about the stuff that goes on in the streets, in a sense, nobody would care. So hip hop is our CNN. And I'm just using CNN as an example. I ain't gonna really call it CNN, because CNN, then that's a whole nother story for a whole nother time. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother time. But hip hop is our outlet. to speak on the things that's going on in our community, but it just seems now that nobody's doing it, with the exception of a few people. You know, um, all of the artists that's been doing this for decades, pretty much. They done wrote books, they got podcasts, they got shows. You know, like Wise Intelligent, for instance. He's the co-founder of Rap Snacks. I know y'all know what Rap Snacks are. You see the potato chips with the rappers on the cover, on the bags all the time. You know, him and Master P. I don't know. I ain't gonna say him and Master P. I'm just gonna say he say he's a co-founder. That's what I seen. I don't know. P has always supported black business, so he's been helping these brothers. Some of these brothers get out here and do these things. Snoop got his own cereal. We trying to become entrepreneurs. We're trying to get into different aspects of life, as well as do this music. So, I mean, we got something to say. We got something to say as artists. We got something to say as men, fathers. Most of us are fathers now. We got families who have families now. Shout out to Urban X, Black Dot Malcolm. I love y'all podcast too. Y'all got a lot of stuff that y'all saying that's relevant to what's going on today. My goal, me and Mizzle Mix, we got our own podcast that we're about to pretty much get started here. It's called Vibes. And this is my hip hop commentary, because I do this on my own, here and there. But we're about to start our podcast up, and I'm gonna let you know that when it starts. And we're gonna be going live, and we're gonna be doing recordings. We're gonna be doing all of that stuff. We have content, we have things that needs to be spoken on, and from our generation's perspective, because a lot of these younger people, they really don't understand the history behind this. It's a history behind this, truly. And as soon as they understand what that history is, then they might be able to get away from some of these snags and these traps that's being set. So I want to give a shout out to the hip hop community, everybody that's doing the music. Make sure you think about it. Make sure you think about your content. Make sure you think about the things that you're doing and what you're saying, because that does matter. Now, with D1 doing the things that he's been doing here lately, he's pretty much been a spokesperson for a lot of the stuff that's going on right now. Not officially. We'll just say, he's a God-centered man. So what he does and how he says it is from God's perspective. That's why he isn't scared to say the things that he's saying right now. And I applaud the brother on that too. We need to be able to speak up about some of the stuff that's going on in our community, whether the people who's doing it like it or not. If you're influencing my children, I'm going to want to know about it. I'm going to want to know what kind of influence you're having on my children. Are you leading them to the grave, or are you trying to give him some light? Are you leading him to the wolves, or are you trying to lead him out of the forest so he can see what's going on out here in the world? Because I wouldn't want my son or my daughter to fall victim to any of this stuff. So why should you? And I know that they don't want their sons and daughters falling victim to any of this stuff. T.I.'s son's a perfect example. This brother came from the streets. did everything he could for his family to keep them from having to go to the streets. But then young King decides he wants to disrespect his parents. That's not cool. You don't get no points for that, you know? And T.I. is a real man, you know what I'm saying? He's a father. He ain't gonna let his son just disrespect him like that. I can't say that I blame him. You know, that's his child. He love him, you know, and it's not a right or wrong thing. It's just love, period. At the end of the day, that's what it is. It's just love. I did this so you don't have to worry about that. You know, Jay-Z said it in that H to the Izzo. Hove did that, so hopefully you don't have to go through that. I was raised in the projects, roaches, and rats. You know, I seen it all. So I'm telling you right now, that ain't the look. You know, I got a song that I just did. It's called The Trap. And that's what I'm talking about. It's a cautionary tale. I'm telling a story about how easy it is to take somebody who doesn't have anything, seeing somebody that does have something, and then the next thing you know, you want to be like them. That's part of my story a little bit, you know, and I wrote about it. So I got to give a shout out to all of our people, all of the brothers and sisters who came from nothing, got into the music, got into the business, went to school, got a degree, whatever you did to get out of your situation and try to make it better for your family. I'm giving a shout out to you for that. God is going to look down on you and understand that you were doing what he wanted you to do. He wanted you to make a better way for your family, for yourself, for your children, and for the community. Because we're not separate from the community. Even though we want to separate ourselves from the community, we're not separate from the community. You know, our children are representatives of us when they go out in the community. At least they're supposed to be. So why would you want your child to display the worst part of you? Your child should want to display the best part of you, as well as being themselves. So, you know, it's a lot of stuff. You know, it's a lot of stuff. These open conversations that I'm gonna be having here and there. You know, if I don't have an actual subject, we're gonna be just, you know, talking about a lot of different things. You know what I mean? And it's refreshing to be able to have these type of conversations and have these type of discussions. You know, now a lot of my stuff is going to be recorded until, you know, I get a little bit better setup. Then once I get a little bit better setup, then, you know, we're going to start going live now so I can interact, you know what I'm saying, with the people, because that's what I want to do. You know, another example, you know, brother Philip Scott, you know, with the African Diaspora channel, had a interview, well, not an interview, he had a podcast where he was talking about Shannon Sharpe saying some things about Meg Thee Stallion. You know, and some of the things we do as men is kind of crazy. Sometimes we need to reel that stuff in, but you know, it's content. It's content for some people, you know, and for others, it's a little bit different. You know, so Meg's fans kind of like had a problem with some of the stuff he was saying. You know, calling him out for saying the stuff that he's saying, but you know, and brother Philip, he expounds on it. You know, y'all go check that podcast out too. You know, I know I'm giving a lot of shout outs to a lot of different people because see, these are the people that I listen to. These are the people that influence me to want to do what I'm doing right now. So with that being said, this is your brother Agent 2020. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this short right now, you know, because I could talk forever, you know, if I wanted to, but I'm not gonna do that. You know, I just wanted to, you know, come online and say what's up to the online community, YouTube, you know, and all the other platforms, you know. Y'all make sure y'all go and check us out. Mizzle Mix, Agent 2020. As a matter of fact, check out my brother Audi too. You know, AUDII. You know, he's on all platforms as well. My brother T Faith, he's on all platforms as well. That's TFAITHE. Me and my cousin coming out with something different here. You know what I'm saying? We got a little group we got together called The Agency. You know, we're going to be dropping some stuff here soon as well. So y'all make sure, if you want good music, good content, it's people out there that's doing it. You got to search for it. It's not a needle in a haystack anymore. All you got to do is type in some names on all the social platforms. It'll pop up, you know, and you'll be able to see if it's something that you're interested in. So this is your brother, Agent 2020, and I am out. Peace, family. That's that vibe. Peace.